This video has been brought to you by the Juubi Dimension merch store. Believe it or not, the Boruto Timeskip was one of the most highly anticipated events in anime and manga for the last 5 years. It had so much expectations to fulfill that I was getting nervous thinking about it. The promo art of Boruto alone generated so much hype that it was trending everywhere. Twitter, YouTube, but hype doesn't mean it was actually good. Now, after reading 6 chapters of Boruto Vortex, I think we could talk about it and what we expected and what we got. Now, the first half of Boruto TBV Vortex Chapter 1 is probably the most boring part of TBV Vortex so far. And when I say boring, I don't mean it was bad at all. Compared to all the other chapters with fights, the introduction of new enemy, and some insane plot development, seeing Chocho's belly isn't that interesting to me. And yes, it was nice seeing Sarada protecting Boruto's name, seeing Himawari train and talking about how Boruto protected her, when she was actually talking about Kawaki in that Delta fight, and also seeing the fandom get mad at Shikamaru for not using his full brain power to deduce omnipotence. It was fun because we get to experience the time skip. Now moving on, this is where the hype starts. This is where Code invades the village with his claw grimes in order to get Boruto's attention. Code came to the village with his aura, like he thought we forgot about all the L's he took. But there's a reason for this confidence, which we will talk about later. So Code is there threatening Sarada, expecting Boruto to save her. And boy, that entrance was so unexpected. Just thinking about it gave me the chills. Like, imagine how I felt the first time I read it. It was like jumping off a fairly high roof with all the adrenaline. By the way, I don't recommend trying to jump off a roof to get back that feeling. It was so good. And that was it for chapter 1. Like, that was it. Now, was it to my expectations? No, I didn't expect to see Boruto versus Code. I expected to get another clickbait flash forward scene of Kawaki and Boruto, which then transition into a training montage like. But if I had to choose between what we got versus what I expected, I would choose what we got 10 times over. Now moving on to TBV Vortex Chapter 2, I'm just going to tell you, if you're an anime, only catch up with the manga and start TBV Vortex. It doesn't slow down. Boruto came to this village with his coldness, like he was like, Code, withdraw your monsters, all of them, and I'll let you live. Like, I'll let you live. And he didn't show any emotion, he was emotionless. That line alone was enough to make me appreciate TBV Vortex, and Code being an idiot didn't take his warning. But let's stop with Code and Boruto for a minute and let's go to Kawaki. Leaving Naruto Next Generation, Kawaki was a menace. He was probably the top 3 strongest in the verse at that time. And seeing him get used as a floor clod by a claw grind was really satisfying to me. Enough of the Kawaki abuse, let's go back to Code and Boruto. The claw grime starts to attack Boruto, and honestly he made light work of it. Some of these panels remind me of early One Piece when Zoro was fighting those guards in the arc when they were rescuing Robin. It was really nice seeing Boruto not using Rasengan over and over, and instead using his sword. It was really refreshing. Now for some interesting story development, these claw grimes can sense Uzutsuki and also awaken the Renegan. The reason for awakening the Renegan is still unknown, but these claw grimes absorb chakra when biting a victim and turning into a tree. Now this is very important, right? Remember that point, turning into a tree and absorbing chakra. Now Boruto is still trying to reason with Code, and he's talking about the claw grimes which were modified thanks to his karma, and that they will lead to the worst possible future for everyone. Now what is he talking about, and how does he know all of this? Well, I think he got a glimpse of future gain through Momoshiki's consciousness leaking into his. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with, but you guys may be better at coming up with logical explanations. But for the worst possible future, I think it's either talking about the destruction of the Hidden Leaf, which we know will come in the near future, or the consumption of everyone's chakra on Earth, which means the planet gets destroyed. What else can it be? Now tell me your thoughts in the comments for these questions. Now on to chapter 3. Code is still being an idiot and thinks Boruto is bluffing, and then proceeds to tell Boruto that he's the one who is going to die. Now ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to tell you is completely factual, please don't argue with me. Boruto is the best Rasengan user that has ever lived. Ashura, you can move aside. Minato, move aside. Naruto, move aside. Boruto is here. At the age of 16, he created a Rasengan that uses the rotation of the earth, the Rasengan Yuzio. Now, how did he learn it? Well, I have an idea, but I don't want to tell you guys as yet about the legend why they taught him. This Rasengan uses the spinning earth, so it uses natural energy. And when Code got hit by this, the way how he was moving, it was so funny. It was like he was drinking last night with Bug and then came to attack the village. Now, do I think Boruto learned Sage Mode? No, I don't think so. But he somehow learned to use natural energy. As Boruto was about to get Code to start talking, Kawaki came flying ready to one-shot Boruto, but Boruto, being the main character here, dodges this attack in the most stylish fashion ever, just jumping back, and it was so cool. Now, Kawaki asked Boruto if he came home to die, and that he would gladly help him. That's a lot of big talk coming from a guy who was used as a floor cloth just a few pages ago. Now, Boruto gets info from the Toad that tells him that he needs to hurry up to the 10 Tails, which has been located. And what he does next makes every Boruto hater hate him even more. He uses the Flying Raijin. The Flying Raijin. Remember when Naruto fans wanted Naruto to learn it? Well, Boruto is becoming everything and more of what people wanted Naruto to be like. Now, this chapter was an absolute treat. From the art, the pacing, the showcasing of Boruto's new development, it was so good. I think this is my favorite chapter. Wait, my second favorite chapter in terms of action and enjoyment. Now, a few things I would like you guys to help you with is 1. Subscribe, 2. Leave a like, 3. Comment and tell me your thoughts on the time skip in general. Tell me everything, ask me any question. I'll greatly appreciate, and I will probably use those comments to make another video. So yeah, thank you. Now on to Chapter 4. As I said before, it doesn't slow down. Chapter 4 is probably my favorite chapter, and you'll find out why. Boruto is now in the 10 Tails dimension, and the 10 Tails has mysteriously disappeared, when suddenly this weird looking creature appeared. These are called the Shinjus. I'll tell you more about them when we get to chapter 5, but for the remainder of this chapter is non-stop action. Boruto using the Flying Raijin like how Sasuke uses Renegan was so nice to see. There are 4 Shinjus and it was a 4v1 against Boruto. You can tell he's gotten stronger, and we finally see him use the purple lightning, and his Kenjutsu is so fluid. It was so refreshing to watch. Now, against these Shinju, he did stand his ground even at base, but also these Shinjus are not even trying as well. And at the near end, he got captured and had to use his Flying Raijin to escape. And this is where our hearts broke. Sasuke was turned into a tree. Seeing Boruto sitting there made me feel emotional. I'm not a very emotional person, but I somehow feel his pain. Now another insane turn of the story is Koji is there. Now 3 years later, we get to see him. Now how did he learn to use the Rasengan? I think Koji taught him because he has Sage Mode and he deals with Sage with natural energy. For the Flying Raijin, I think Boruto just learned it so he can move around faster without the use of the Karma, because we still haven't seen him use it yet. And I'll ask you guys again, what do you think about that? Now, chapter 5 is 95% about the Shinjus, and they're really interesting, so let's talk about them after we talk about Sasuke's demise. Now, Sasuke got jumped by Code and his claw grimes, and we can see that it was a struggle. Reading the words, there's absolutely no way we can win against him. Honestly, it was heartbreaking. We were talking about Sasuke, one of the strongest shinobi, with or without his and saying that about Code. It was sad. In desperation, Sasuke ordered Boruto to run, and he should survive at all costs. And if he masters his teaching, no one will be able to stop it. Now, what did he teach him? We'll have to wait and find out. And for this short Sasuke flashback, it was really nice. It was done justice. It showed that Sasuke struggled, and it wasn't like some disrespectful beating which Jigen gave them. It was actually a fight. It was good. Now on to the Shinjus. These Shinjus are evolved version of the claw grimes. Remember when that random ninja got turned into a tree? Well, these Shinjus are created from chakra of those individuals. Now there are 4 Shinjus. The female Shinju, Masuri, the leader, Jura, the first one we saw, Bug, we still don't know his name, and the mysterious one who used abilities similar to the Chidori against Boruto, name is Hidari. And I think he was created using Sasuke's chakra. The female was created using Moegi's chakra, and same goes for Bug. These Shinjus have evolved, and so instead of only targeting Utsutsuki, they're now targeting regular people as well, who their instincts tell them. Now, there's a theory going around saying that these targets are the individual who was most precious to the individuals whose chakra they have connection with. That's just a theory, but these matchups are really insane. Matsuri wants to consume Konohamaru, so we might see Konohamaru get his first dub. Hidari wants to consume Sarada, so we might get to see a really similar fight to Sasuke versus Sarada, which will honestly going to be insane. Bug wants Ida, and Juro wants Naruto. I'm not going to talk about who I think Juro is. I made a video on that, and also I made a video talking about how is Juro going to get Naruto. So be sure to check it out. Now, Amado's conversation with Sumire really made this chapter 10 times better and more interesting. Amado was saying that there's a possibility that his memory has been altered. Now, how he came up with this was from the evidence. Sumire brought up the question about Amado if he's nervous since Boruto's back, and that he's open to get killed. And if you remember, since the position of Kawaki and Boruto switch, Boruto karma is needed to return Boruto as per the memories. Now, Amado said that the karma on Kawaki is the karma that he needs, and that he is sure that he was the one who made the modification to Kawaki's body, but his memory is telling him different, and as a scientist, he would choose proof over his memory, and that's how he came up with his memory being overridden theory. Now moving on to chapter 6, Shikamaru heard this conversation and decided to himself that he's going to ask Boruto himself. Now Boruto's back in the village and the welcome that he got was unexpected. The Boruto shippers went wild, like honestly it went really wild. I'm not going to talk much about that because not really important. He basically told Sarada that Sasuke was captured by a claw grime and so on. Now in chapter 5, Ida found out about the plan of the Shinjus. And logically, she told Kawaki because they're after Naruto, who is pissed off and was even more pissed off when Damon and told him that his so-called Naruto death plan would get messed up if the Shinjus came looking for Naruto. So Kawaki decided to leave, which was a big mistake honestly. Mitsuki took him out and that was honestly funny. Like, I made a meme saying that he got violated by Mitsuki because Mitsuki acts as sus. So yeah. Now, how did Mitsuki take him out? We don't know. Maybe poisoning, that's the theory going around. But the reason for him taking him out was because Kawaki can sense Boruto in the village. And if Kawaki were to attack him, Boruto would be able to sense him and flee. So Mitsuki taking out Kawaki is a really tactical move so that Mitsuki will be able to get close to Boruto so he can eliminate him. Right before Mitsuki was about to attack Boruto, Shikamaru connected and warned him that Mitsuki was coming. Now, the Mitsuki versus Boruto was really short, but it gave us some satisfaction. Seeing Mitsuki use Sage Mode was an absolute treat. It was time we got to see Boruto versus Mitsuki. I think this is the third time we got it, and the first two times we got cog blocked. Now Shikamaru then proceeds to ask Boruto if he is Boruto Uzumaki. Now, that was basically it. Overall, I think Two Blue Vortex surpassed my expectation with all the development of these new Utsuki-like creature, and also seeing that it won't only be focused on Boruto and Kawaki. It gave the main side characters a part in the story, and if that random ninja will get turned to Shitsu, it can also include the other side characters in these battles. For people like Chocho, Hoki, Shikadai, which won't leave him out in the story. I really hope the anime gives Sasuke a proper battle, and hopefully they make it show like he was dying there, trying to see if it was a like really Baryon moment. He can get that Baryon moment, it would be really nice. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I know this is a really long video, but it's been your boy Juubi, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!